My friends, what's going on, guys? My name is Kai. Welcome to the Sober Living channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Please consider sharing, and subscribing. It helps my channel grow so much. So, my friends, how are we doing tonight? I hope everyone's well. I'd like to talk to you tonight about something that I discovered last night that I think is going to improve my life greatly. And I have discovered why I have trust issues. And that is just fantastic for me. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. I don't have trust issues in the sense that I think a partner's going to cheat on me. I have trust issues in the sense that when somebody tells me that everything's okay, I think that it's not okay. And I think that everything is definitely not okay. And I think I figured out why. So, if you've been following my channel for a little while, I am a cancer survivor. You would have seen a couple playlists about my journey through cancer and what happened with it. But one thing that happened with my cancer was I had orbital bone cancer. And the cancer spread into my sinus and it destroyed a lot of the top of my mouth. I had to have a lot of these teeth pulled or they just fell out. My mouth wasn't in good shape. So when I was preparing for my big surgery, for the big one, I think it was like a 14-hour surgery. It was a huge surgery. And when I was preparing for it, they told me, hey Kai, you can't eat, you can't drink for 24 hours pre-surgery. And now I had gotten used to this. Because this was like my 9th or 10th surgery at this point. I was very aware of the whole can't eat, can't drink thing. But through my surgeries and the way that the cancer destroyed the top of my mouth, I slowly was losing all of my saliva glands that were producing saliva in my mouth. So I got an incredibly dry mouth very quickly. To this day, I still always have a water bottle right beside me because I am always extra thirsty. Now, when I went in for my surgery, I was having a really hard time with this because I had already gone through the process and I already know how hard it was going without water for a day. Now, when I was right about to go into surgery, I asked the doctor, please, the only thing I'm asking from you is when I wake up from my surgery, when I wake up from consciousness, please have either a water bottle or a glass of water or a pitcher of water beside my bed. Please just have that for me because I'm incredibly thirsty and this just sucks, And he says, yes, no problem, I promise we'll get you water right when you wake up, not a problem. So, surgery went well, everything went fine, and I woke up and I was incredibly groggy, I don't even really remember, but I can just imagine. And I woke up and the first thing I said to the doctor was like, where's my water? Where is my water? Because I am so thirsty. Oh my goodness. And he said, okay, well, just wait. Your family's coming in and everything like that. So the family came in, and again, I said to the doctor, where's my water? I'm glad the family's here. Where is my water? I'm the thirstiest man on earth at this moment. Give me some water. And then when my family was there, he was like, okay, Kai, we need to talk to you. And we're not allowed to give you water. We're not allowed to give you water for 7 days because they had basically glued the top palate of my mouth back onto, I guess, my skull. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how it works. But they said that any liquid inside of my mouth would complicate the adhesive. And then I got this horrible image in my mind of the top of my mouth just falling into the bottom of my mouth. Just the scariest thing. So I said to him, I said, well, when can I drink again? And he said, you can drink again in 7 days. And I like freaked out because I'm already the thirstiest man on earth. And I freaked out and I said, well, how am I going to survive with people can't not drink water? How am I going to survive for 7 days without water? And he said, well, it'll be intravenously administered. And I was like, oh my God. So the first day was absolute hell, right? I had just woken up from everything and I'm going right back to sleep because I'm exhausted. But the next day, I'm the driest I've ever been in my life. And I talk to the nurse and I say, nurse, can I please figure out something? Can I maybe chew on ice chips? Anything. And the solution that the doctors came up with and the nurse came up with was, in hospitals they have these little swabs, and they're little sponges on the end of like a stick. And what the nurse would do is she would dip the sponge in water. I would stick out my tongue and she would just dab it on my tongue, right? It couldn't go anywhere else in my mouth. It could only go on the face of my tongue. Oh my God. Guys, it was awful. Please excuse my language. But another way that I got relief from it was because I couldn't eat, because I couldn't drink anything, I also had a feeding tube in. So the feeding tube went up my nose and down into my stomach, right? And what was nice was I did have a pitcher of water beside me that I could take a big syringe, like a big syringe, and I could suck up a bunch of ice water, and then I would detach my food bag and I would attach the water to the end of the hose, and I would just slowly push the plunger of the needle down, just as slow as I could, and then that would cause ice cold water to like pass through my throat. It wouldn't make it any more like it wouldn't wet it or anything, but at least the sensation of the cool water going all the way down, it was a relief. But it was scary. It was scary and it was awful and it was awful. And I think that is why I don't believe people when they say that everything's okay. Because I once had a doctor tell me that, everything's okay, don't worry, everything's fine, everything's going to be ready for you when you wake up, don't worry about it. And then I was lied to. And I gotta tell you, that week was the worst week of my life. It was so horrendous that there was a point where my mother, who we didn't live in the city. We live about an hour and a half away from the city. Toronto, that the city's Toronto that I'm talking about. We live about an hour and a half away. And she drove in rush hour traffic down to come and see me. And I was so upset. I was so furious and I was so fed up with not being able to drink that she walked into my room and she was like, "Oh, hey, Kai, my son, let me hug you." And I screamed at her. I said, "Get out of the room. I'm so furious right now. Get out. I don't want to see you. Go back home." And to this day, it's one of the worst things that I've ever done in my entire life. But she forgave me, I forgave myself, It was a matter of, I was basically being tortured, and I didn't want to be around anybody. I actually refused all visitors after the second day until I was allowed to drink again, because I was, even just speaking was like torture. It was horrible. So, guys, I finally figured out why I think that I have trust issues when people say that everything's okay, don't worry about it, and I over-exaggerate that, and I think, oh, well, probably something is wrong because of that doctor that lied to me. So, I just want to let you guys know I'm going to work on it. I'm going to notice it now in my active life, and I'm going to work on it, and hopefully that improves my life, because one aspect of my life that I do have a hard time with is trusting people when they say that everything's okay, you know? But now that I know probably the cause of it, I can hit it head on. So, that's my spiel for today. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my story maybe shines some light on my character a little bit, hopefully in a good way, not in a bad way. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening. I have a whole bunch of cleaning up to do in my house. My house is such a catastrophe because I'm the only one who can clean it up. My roommate's handicapped. It's hard for him to do a lot of cleaning, so I take care of the cleaning stuff. But I've been working so often lately trying to save up for Japan that our house is just a disaster. So I'm not working today. I took the day off and I am off to clean right now. So, guys, God bless wherever you are in the whole wide world. Please stay safe. Please stay sober. And if you're not going to stay sober, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Just be with good people. Have a good friend with you. Remember, your parents love you, and every one of your friends wants you to wake up tomorrow. All right? Bye, guys.